Hello, welcome to everyone for my channel. This day we are going to see about the fundamentals of that machine learning. So those who want to learn that is concepts of that machine learning, and then how we have to implement that probabilistic parameters, and then you have to know so how to handle the data, and then what kind of that algorithm that you have to implement to understand the data and its relationship. So if you are having such kind of that intention, and please you have to listen to this video, you will understand that basic concepts. So today we are going to talk about that three parameters in that fundamentals of machine learning. The first one, we have to know what is the data, and then the term that is the raw data, and then how that feature that has been represented in the data. And the next one, we are going to talk about the statistics. So without that statistics, we can't able to analyze that is the data. And then after that analysis, we have to visualize in everywhere, in case if we want to see about the profit of that organization, or if we want to see about that is the outcome of the data, instead of looking into that set of the data, if you are representing that relationship among the data with that visualization, it gives that immediate understandability to the person, those who are analyzing that is input. So now we are going to see about what is the data, and then the concepts behind the data, and then what is the instance, and what is the attributes, and what is the features. Now that we have to see all these things one by one. So now we have to talk about what is the data. So everybody know data is called that is a collection of that related information. We shouldn't say the data is an information. If you are saying the data is an information, it is wrong. The information should be the relative up to the particular entity. We can't able to say that is irrelevant, or that the entity that is not related, we can't able to say that is the data. So that the first definition it's saying about data is a collection of facts such as numbers or words or that measurements or observations, or even that a description of the things. So one thing you have to keep in your mind, if we are saying that is the data, it is the piece of that information that is collected from that relevant region. So this is a very important concept behind when we are saying the data. And then a data can be qualitative, or that's a quantitative. A data may be that qualitative, in case it may be in the form of a descriptive information. It may describe something. In case we can able to say that is one good example. If you people are working in that medical transcription, and there we have to say we are handling that qualitative data. Meanwhile, if you are saying that is a quantitative data, is that numeric information kind of the things, that is the numbers. In case if you are talking about the population of that particular city, or that population of the state, or that population of the country, or that population of that world, and then how much of the marks that is scored in that exam, and who is that first rank and who is that second rank, all these kind of that things that is comes under the category of quantitative data. And then this is one basic fundamental. Some people will say datas, so that is the wrong. So data is that plural, and then singular for that data is called that is the data. In case if we are using that term that the datas, please try to correct yourself. That is the wrong term you have to use. That is the data. Data is the term of the plural, not that is the singular. Plural, singular for that data is called the data. And then next one we have to be talk about, that is the qualitative data. In that qualitative data, already we said it may be in that form of any descriptive manner. So without that digits, if you are representing that any piece of that information in other format, and then it is called that qualitative data. It may be nominal or that ordinal. So nominal means it's having that collection of relevant informations. In case if you are taking that is entity as that eye, and then we may classify, the people may have that eye with blue, they may have that eye color with brown, and maybe that people maybe have that eye color in that black, or they may have that is the eye color as cat eyes. So if we are classifying such a entity, and then such kind of that the data is called that nominal qualitative data. And the next one is called that is ordinal data. So this is also the descriptive manner, but the thing is the numbers are in the form of that images. We can't able to edit these things that represent that numbers in that form of that images. And the next one, that is the quantitative data. Everyone know if we are collecting that the piece of that information into that Excel sheet, and then it is called that a quantitative data. A quantitative data can also be that two parameters. One is called the discrete, and another one is called that is the continuous data. The discrete data may be counted, but the continuous data can able to only that measure. That we have to see, that is one example. If I am saying the data is the discrete, we may say that is a whole number that starts from that negative to that positive. That is that infinitive. So it is called that is certain values. And next one, if you are saying that the continuous data, it's specified into that within that range. In case if I am saying that the students marks, and then the pass value of the marks from that 50 to 100. So this is the continuous data. So in case if you are saying that is the quantitative data, that is the two types. One is discrete, and another one is called that is that continuous data. You should be very clear with the discrete and then continuous data. In that later time, that should be that very useful when we have to compute that certain parameters in that machine learning. And then we have to be see about the concepts, instance, and then attributes. The component of that inputs for that every machine learning, we need that is that certain parameters to be feeded into that machine learning to make that computation, or we have to go for that future expressions, or we have to do that is the certain outcome. So that outcome is going to be trained, that is the system. Afterwards, if you are feeding that is that any input, the system will answer. So what is that particular input you are given? So for that, we have to be clearly understand the concepts and instances and then attributes. If you are saying that is the concepts, this is the kind of the things that can be learned. So we can able to classify, we can able to understand, and we can able to define. So it is called that is the concepts. And there's the next one, it is called that is the instances, the individual or the independent examples of the concept. If you are defining that is one a concept, from that concept you have to identify that appropriate instances. The instances may be that individuality of that particular person, or it may be that independent examples of that particular concept. And the next one is called that is that attributes. The attributes that is comes under the category of measuring aspects of an instance. So in below of this table, you can able to see that is that how the data that has been classified into that particular flower. So there you can able to see that is the sepal length, and then sepal width, and then petal length, and then subpetal width. So these are all the concepts that is defined into the specified flowers, and then we define that is the instances, and we define that is the attributes. So this is the very important basic concepts of that machine learning. If we are collecting the data, the raw data cannot be fed into that machine learning. That has to be divided, or that has to be classified into that three basic things already what we said, that is the concepts, instances, and attributes. And now we have to see about that is importance of the feature selection and representation. So this is a very important concept in that feature learning, extraction of that features. The extraction of the features should be that correct, and then having the good accuracy. The outcome of that the machine learning is also seems to be that very accuracy also. In case that feature selection and the representation, we may be put it into that form of the binary data. In case if you are talking about that is that binary data, already we know that is in either 0 or that is that 1. In simply we have to say that is yes or no. All that machine learning as well as that artificial intelligence is follow upon this phenomena alone. If you are giving that is that input, either that input is correlate or not. So there we have come to the conclusion, yes or no. So the feature selection is finally giving that is one categorical data, and also it's giving that is the two parameter kind of the results, either yes or no. And the next one we have to be know about that is the data. If you are collecting that is the data, the collection quality that seems to be that very important. If you are missing very important kind of the data, the outcome from that particular analysis seems to be that very errorful. In case we know, so how pre-election and then so post-election prediction. So sometimes it's correlate with the results. So sometimes it can't be correlated with the results. So why that's happening? The samples that has been collected from that the entire population. So the sample that is collected from that appropriate region and then appropriate people, and then we have to be get that is a higher correlated value. So when we are so talking about that is the data, we should be clearly analyzed. So either am I miss that is any data or that's a values. So when we have to be go for that data is missing. So when that particular data set that seems to be that unknown, or it cannot be unrecorded, or if we feel that is that irrelevant, all the justification is on ours. In case if you are defining that is one appropriate template to collect the data, and then we can able to reduce that the missing data or its values. So what reason that will happen? The correlation of the different data sets, or that the measurement not possible, or we can't able to sample that data from that large sample. So these are all the things make us to miss that appropriate data. So the missing the data may have that significance in itself. So reason is we can't able to collect that 100% of piece of that information from that entity. In some part of that, like we have to miss certain percentage, but that is that acceptable. So when we have to be go for that evaluation, and then when we have to be go for that feature selection from the data, that accuracy that is comes to that appropriate level, and then there is no issue of missing the data. But in later time we are going to be discuss about that is overfitting and that's underfitting. So there we can able to easily justify either we missing that data or not. And then the most ML schemes assume that the missing data have no special significance. So be careful, and we have to be make that is our own decision when we have to be collect the data. And then next one is called that is inaccurate values. We may collect the data, and then we may collect that is that piece of that information from that entity, but we may do that is attributes of the classifications. In case if we are making that classification is wrong, and then it will produce that is that inaccurate values. So the typographical errors, or that in nominal attributes, that has to be checked for its consistency, and meanwhile the typographical and measurement errors and numerical attributes, that should be that outliers that need to be identified too. So these two parameters that should be getting into that consideration when we have to be collection of the data. The values should be that accurate, that shouldn't be that inaccurate. And then the last parameter in the data collection is called that is noise. So the noise always know the which data is not relevant to that particular entity. In case I am collecting that is the data about that flowers, in that moment I am collecting that is the data of that leaf, and then it is called that is that noise. So it may be called that is that anomaly. For what purpose I am collecting that is the data? That data should be that essential. All that unwanted data is getting the term is called that is that noise. So in machine learning, the presence of the noise may cause the difficulties in learning that classes, and then produce that unreliable classifiers. So when we are collecting the data, we have to apply that is that appropriate filters in the data, and we have to be extract that is that appropriate information, and then we have to be come to the conclusion this is that right data for my analysis. And then how that noise that has been occurred. So there is the various parameters is there, but in our discussion there is the two things, that is imprecision in the recording of the input attributes, and then so errors in that labeling and more. So these are all the things that creates the noise in the data set. and then you have to know, we have to be visualized, that is the data. So collection of the data and then process of the data, extracting the features of the data is not at all be the big thing, but we have to be visualize the data. If the data is in the table format, we can't able to come to that understand so what the data is saying. In case if we are visualizing that data into the any of the graphical format, and then we can able to come to the conclusion what is the purpose of the data, what the data is going to say, what is the outcome of the data, what I understand from the data. So we have to be visualized, that is the data. The visualization of the data that has to be classified into the two things, that is one is called nominal attributes and another one is called that is numeric attributes. This nominal attributes is called that is the histograms, and numerical attributes is called that is the graphs. So already we studied all these things in our school days itself, so you people already know. So what is the histograms and what is the graphs? So the histograms, that is always talking about, that is a bell kind of the shapes, or it may be having the skewness and representing the data in some order. But in the numerical ways, we can able to represent the graphs in x-axis, and then so y-axis. X-axis may represent that is one kind of the quantity, and then so y-axis may have that another set of the quantity. And then next topic we have to be seen on that. So next presentation, so there we are going to be talk about that is that sampling, normal distribution, and then so measure of central tendency. So up to this I am concluding this the first session. On that next session we are going to be see about that is how the statistics is going to be helped to understand the machine getting into be produce that good outcome. So thank you.